Welcome, everyone. We're so excited to have Shannon Norton here with us today. Shannon's from New Jersey, and she played basketball at Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts. She got a degree in visual and media arts with a concentration in TV production. And now she's the operations coordinator for the Indiana Fever and Indiana Mad Ants. And she's the coolest boss ever.
True.
She is.
True.
You didn't have to add that.
Yeah, we did.
That was absolutely required. I said put it in the notes.
Requirement.
Absolutely. Okay, my first question is a visual media arts degree, now you're an operations coordinator, and how did you get from that to here?
Yeah, so basically, I always thought I was going to go into TV. I asked my parents for a video camera for Christmas for years and years, finally got one in the 8th grade. I have an older sister who went into TV and film at Penn State. So I kind of just had that in my head, and I would carry my video camera everywhere and film everything. And it came to my senior year of college, and basketball season ended, and it was devastating. And it was I miss the team environment. I love it so much. Mm-hmm. And I was the captain of my team at the time, and my coach had a huge influence on the 4 years of me being in college, and just taught us a lot of life lessons. And he was the one to actually approach me and be like, hey, did you ever think about getting into coaching? And I was like, no, at the time there wasn't really a major for that. I think there is now at certain places. Mm-hmm. But I was like, no, I haven't. And he's like, well, I think you should think about that. And I was like, well, that'll keep me in the team environment. And so I was dead set at the time on moving to California and going to LA and getting in the TV industry. And I was like, all right, I'm going to figure out a way to make that work. And I just so happened to play a couple California schools my senior year. So I reached out to those schools and got in at Caltech. And then,
cool.
Yeah, kind of have done both. Mm-hmm. And until coming to Indiana, really finally dove in just to sports.
How'd you get from California to here?
Yeah, so went out to LA, worked on TV commercials out there, coached at Caltech, and then I don't know. I always knew I wanted to go to the West Coast, but I'm such an East Coaster at heart, being from New Jersey, and I didn't know too many people out there at the time. A lot of my friends who wanted to move out there weren't out of school yet. Just somehow made my way back to the East Coast. I think I had a job offer that was high paying, so I was like, I kind of gotta take that. Freelance life is tough in the video industry, especially. Yeah. It's really tough. And then one of my friends convinced me to move back to Boston, help her run a video company. So I did that, and I reached out to my old head coach and was like, hey, let me help out with the team. Obviously I've been coaching now. And he's like, better yet, just become our assistant coach, because the coach I had was leaving, so I filled in there. And then I was there for 4 years, kind of doing both. And then I had a friend call me up. He knew I wanted to go to a higher level. I was coaching at Division III, wanted to take the next step, go D2, D1. Wasn't even thinking pros at the time. Mm-hmm. And he was like, hey, I saw the Indiana Fever has a job opening. And one of them was for a video coordinator role. So that's more on the coaching side, where you're breaking down footage for the coaching staff, you're live coding games, just saying what's going on in the play, just so the coaches can get everything faster. So I originally interviewed for that, but they ended up kind of dissolving that role and having an assistant coach be the video coordinator as well. And then they kept on their intern from the year prior, and he became the assistant video coordinator. So he obviously had a leg up because he knew all of that already, and they would have had to teach me a bunch of things. So then there was the equipment manager role, and I guess I had a good interview, and they were like, hey, obviously this isn't what you interviewed for, but we'd like you to consider it. And it really aligned with video and producing background, because you're managing crews, you're managing scheduling and people, and telling people where they need to be, when they need to be there. So I was like, well, why not? And it's a chance to get in the foot in the door and at a higher level in the pros, especially like WNBA. It's a dream job for sure.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I couldn't pass that up.
Yeah, for real. So then, like, did you got the fever first, and then the Mad Ants came with that, or how did you like then get into like the Mad Ants?
So I thought it was just gonna be a seasonal job, was gonna work the season for the summer, and then figure out like maybe a coaching role in college in the WNBA off season. And obviously, I didn't know if they were gonna want to bring me back or not, because those roles tend to turn over a bit just with them being seasonal. But towards the end of season, Lynn and our GM and then Hillary are now assistant GM. We're kind of in talks and like, hey, like what can we do to keep Shannon around? And then they brought Chris Taylor into the conversation, who's our Mad Ants GM, and they kind of like created a role for me, but like didn't, because they both had like the seasonal equipment ops role, and then they were like, well, why don't we just make that a full-time role so she could be here year-round.
Well, was that before the Mad Ants moved here?
Yeah,
Did you travel back and forth?
Yeah, my first season, well, we were still based in Indy, so it's not like I had to find an apartment in Fort Wayne or anything, but all our home games were up there, so yeah, we'd travel up for home games, stay in Courtyard Marriott up there, and be there for home games, and then travel back for any practices or what have you. But the whole spiel, too, was that I traveled with the Fever, so I wasn't going to travel with the Mad Ants, at least to away games, just home games, which is nice, because that's gets to be a lot.
Yeah, but still driving 2 hours every home game is a lot.
I know, yeah.
That's crazy.
Sometimes I took the team bus, but there were other times where either they'd be going on to the next place, so I'd have to drive myself, or just sometimes I'd be holding up the team bus, like getting everything broken down at the arena, so I would feel bad. So I was like, all right,
she's like, I'll just go
better
later.
just drive my car.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So like hiring, so like what we do for you, so like your team attendance, like for the Fort Wayne, like did you have Indy kids who went, or did you like, how did you try and hire Fort Wayne kids when you were kind of here?
That was really interesting going into Fort Wayne, because they had already had a bunch of team attendants from years prior and kids that have done it for years and years. So I just kind of went there and they were like, here's your team attendance. What? And so I wasn't part of the hiring process at all for that.
Yeah.
But they kind of had their system down anyway, and I was more so learning like how their setup is and where everything is stored and all that stuff. So it was fine. It worked out. Everyone was great up there. So
I just got thrown right into it. You just got thrown right into it.
Yeah,
that's
much.
crazy.
So you really didn't start hiring team attendants until the Mad Ants moved here?
Yeah. So this year was
This is
the first year of getting
Really?
Mad Ants team attendants.
Got hired by Shannon.
Yeah.
Good job, Taya. You made the cut. You're welcome. No, just kidding.
Yeah, actually.
It's okay.
Thanks,
It's
Kenzie.
fine. It's fine. So kind of like with you, I guess now with the Fever or anywhere in general, like obviously you're here and you've stayed here. Like, what is it about Indy or like the Fever, the Mad Ants that you like to the point where you want to stay?
Just the organization as a whole has been great. I love working with Lynn. I have learned so much from Hillary, our assistant GM. Like, she has taught me the ins and outs of the WNBA and equipment and operations, and I just continue to learn from her every day, and I'm trying to like take in as much as I can. And just being able to be attached to an NBA team and a G League team just makes it so much better, because, you know, everyone's there. You're meeting people from different, well, same organization, but different backgrounds. Obviously having the women's side and the men's side. So that's just like, I don't know, it's ever changing, and I'm just like learning all the time about
Everything.
NBA, WNBA. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
everything.
Yeah.
And you kind of picked the middle because you said I did the West Coast, I did the East Coast, and now you're
Yeah.
right in the middle.
Good old Indiana.
Midwest.
Never
You
thought
get the
I'd be in the
Indiana.
Midwest, and I had never really been here until I moved here.
Oh.
Like I
really?
had been to IU once for like a weekend trip with a friend and a friend's mom, but I had never been to Indianapolis, so
Now here we are.
I really had to rely on my friends that had told me about the job here to
Because there
come
was
in.
nobody else you knew here when you moved.
No, yeah. So
my
I have
gosh.
2 college friends that are married and live here, and I actually had
Okay.
connected them. And they just
Matchmaker.
got married last year. So.
Matchmaker right here. She does
But
it all.
I lived with them the first summer I was here, and then once I got hired full time, I found my own place.
Dang.
Yeah.
Awesome. But you are a practice player for the Fever. Is it just for the Fever, or do you practice with the Mad Ants as well?
I wouldn't specifically say practice
Yeah.
player, but I'll like hop in on drills or player
Okay.
development. We do have male practice players that come in for the Fever. So they're doing a lot of the like scrimmaging against the players. I'm definitely not at that level. I'm not making them any better. I'm just, I can listen to the
Fair, yeah.
coaches and, manipulate defense the way they want like a player to go or
Okay.
something. A lot of passing and rebounding. But yeah, with the Mad Ants too, I'm passing, rebounding with players, sometimes hopping in, dribbling, handing it off to them. Playing some dummy defense. It's definitely dummy defense.
She said dummy demon. Yeah, because they're all probably way bigger than you. I mean, like, you're tall, but that picture of you and Emma, it just cracks me up
Yeah,
every time.
I'm small compared to them.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, this is year 3, 4 for the Fever?
This is going to be my 3rd season with the Fever. Yeah.
Dang. That's crazy.
It went by fast.
Yeah. But I would think, like, you were here longer. Like, the way I would feel like.
Definitely. You seem comfortable with them for sure.
I shouldn't feel like that. Just because with operations, you need to know anyone and everyone and,
Yeah.
like, find out which department you need to go to get something done. So I'm at the arena so much that everyone just sees my face all the time and then end up meeting me and what have you. So I think that has a lot to do with it for sure.
But I've seen you working on the computer during the Mad Ants games. Is that, like, did it help working in, like, productions with using video cameras for that?
Yeah. So I actually have a couple friends too that are video coordinators. One of them is one of my great guy friends from Emerson College where I went. He played on the men's team. He was a point guard, so we did a lot of our workouts together in college. He's a head video coordinator for the Portland Trail Blazers now.
Oh, cool.
And he always said to me, he's like, if you go for a video job, I feel like you'll pick it up easy because, like, looking at the softwares, it looks a lot like when I'm doing video editing, the way, like, there's a timeline and the clips start adding into the timeline and how you, like, go back and if you have to delete something or what have you. So that is super similar. And then even I used to have to live stream stuff, especially after COVID. So we're using, like, this same little box that we're getting the live feed for, like, live coding a game as I did when I was live streaming things on YouTube.
Is that a lot harder than, because are you watching, like, just your computer, or are you watching the game also when you're doing that?
I tend to do kind of both. So this is for the Mad Ants games. I'm live coding games for some of them. So I'm getting the game feed, but it's delayed. So if I'm keeping up, so basically I'm marking if we're on offense or defense, and then specific things that our coaches might be looking for. So I do, like, who's making the baskets? Is it a 2, a 3? Where is it on the court? Sometimes play calls, who's making the assists or turnovers. If I'm kind of up to speed with the delayed video, I'm looking at the game, so I can there's called hotkeys. So you can click, like, M if you want a made 2 basket, or 3 if you want a made 3 basket, and you can set those in your little diagram that you have. I'm still learning a bunch of it too, but, like,
it's confusing.
I don't, when it's set up and I'm doing it, I know how to do all that. I don't know all the ins and outs, but yeah,
That's cool.
I'm kind of watching, marking it as it's going, and trying to keep up with the game. So especially because if a coach wants to see a replay, or they're like, should we challenge it? Like, I want to be able to say yes or no in the moment and not be like, hold on, let me.
Right, because you
It's
just
just like,
do that
wait,
really
20 more seconds, wait a
quickly.
second.
Yeah.
Dang, that's
Yeah.
crazy. So with like the Fever of the Man, it's like obviously in women and men is the different. Like, how do you interact? Like, because you're interacting a lot with the players and you're close
Yeah.
with like all of them. Like, how does it like the switch from like the women to the men, or is it like?
It's pretty comparable and the same, just because everyone has a different personality. Obviously, you get some players trying to act cooler than they want to let on, and then their goofy side comes out. But no, like some of them are a little more reserved and kept to themselves, and others have like super big personalities, and yeah, you get it all.
You get it
on
all.
both sides. Yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah.
Love
But
that.
everyone's been awesome. All the players I've worked with have been awesome all the time, and really appreciative and thankful, and make it known that they're super thankful for everything. So.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That
I
is
feel like that
cool.
makes it better when the environment's just like a better, grateful.
Definitely with both men and women.
Yeah, because you see the more men
Yeah,
side of things than
haven't-
I see the women.
I don't know. Say, is yours? Do you think it seems more intense or? Well, obviously it's a little more intense because it's WNBA, but
It's a little more. I don't know. And I just feel like we do very different things. Like you talk about after the madness, and I'm like, I don't do that, but that's okay. But like, yeah, like what she said, like their personalities, like once you kind of like, it's been cool to like work for them and then be like, oh, that's what they're like, because you have these names, and then you're like, oh, she's actually hilarious, but
Because
like,
you know what they're kind of like when you're also working with them, or like what they need and whatnot. But
yeah, love that. What a time.
Yeah, how has your experience been with the guys?
It's been good. I mean, I had never done anything like that before. I had never been a team attendant, worked close with a team like that, but
yeah.
it's been actually pretty easy to adjust. It's been fun. I like it.
She likes
Of
it
course,
enough to join.
Of course, with the
Fever.
best boss ever, right? Kenzie?
Facts. And you like it enough to join the Fever.
Oh yeah,
So,
I'm looking forward to
Fever
that.
Squad's where it's at.
Yeah.
For real.
Especially with that.
Here's your official
Teammates.
offer.
There it is.
Join the Fever
On
team
the-
attendance.
There it is.
On camera,
Mark
everybody.
that down.
Breaking news.
Write that down. Write that
Breaking
down.
news.
Taya's
It's
joining.
not about someone else joining the Fever. It's about
Nobody
me.
is joining the Fever. It's about take it more. Joining the Fever. Period. Okay, well, kind of staying on that then. This question we ask everyone towards the end, and it's just like, who's your favorite female athlete and why?
Mine growing up was always Sue Bird, point guard. I feel like we had like almost a similar playing style. Like you could tell she's like very fundamental the way she played, and she's just like such a big women's advocate. And I felt like she was one of the first female athletes too to kind of cross that bridge and like show that she had friends in the NBA and like they would give the love back, and that's definitely happening more and more. And then just like her fashion sense is really cool. I'm really into fashion.
An icon.
She's the best.
She's an
style.
icon. Her and Meg are icons together, and
The
just,
style
like,
goes crazy.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
did you get to meet her at all, like while working?
Not really. No, unfortunately.
Dang.
I mean, I was near her.
You see her.
Yeah.
And like I greet the teams when they
Right.
come in and stuff and show them where to go, but no.
Not besties or nothing.
No.
Not besties or nothing.
She's besties with Lynn. So.
Is she really?
Lynn drafted her. When
Really?
She was,
Really?
Yeah. In Seattle.
Oh, Lynn
she
was in
drafted her.
Tell
I
her to
didn't-
set something up. You meet her.
Come on, Lynn.
I can't ask that.
Lynn, you heard that here right first. Come on, Lynn. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been
Thanks for
great.
having
Also,
me.
shout out again, best boss ever.
Best boss ever,
We had to put
everybody.
it out there. It's great.
Well, it's been fun to step into your guys' space.
Yeah. See
Who's your favorite?
No,
Be
no.
honest.
All my team attendants are my favorites.
Yeah, she has to go
I know.
the easy route.
Both sides.
Both, that's true.
That's true.
But the Fever are just
There's
They've
more.
both been best in the league.
That's
yeah,
true.
that is true.
That is true.
We are the best.
other teams have said it, so it's
See.
legit because the best boss.
Yep,
That's just how
it's
wide
from
it
her.
is. She creates the program, guys. What can I say?
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Of
Glad you
course.
guys have a good time.
It's awesome.
It's
is
fun.
great.
It's
It
always
is
fun.
And now Taya's joining. It's official.
Even more fun.
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
Right here. Boom.
Right here first.
Period. Boom. Right here. Sweet. Well,
Thanks for being
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
peace.
See ya.